When it comes to attraction, most men think it's all about looks, money, or having the right pickup line. But in reality, attraction can be built or destroyed by something as simple as the words that come out of your mouth. There are certain things you should never tell a woman because once those words leave your lips, you can't take them back. And the way she sees you changes instantly. This video isn't about lying or playing games, it's about understanding how women respond to confidence, leadership, and mystery. And how some things you say can quietly strip all of that away. A lot of guys sabotage themselves without even knowing it. They think they're being honest, vulnerable, or romantic. But the truth is, they're saying things that make them look insecure, weak, or desperate. And once a woman senses that, her attraction starts to fade. The scary part, you don't even have to say something bad for this to happen. You could be saying something you think is sweet or harmless, but if it kills the excitement, it kills the attraction. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 specific things you should never tell a woman if you want her to see you as a man she respects, desires, and is drawn to. I'll break down why these mistakes are so common, what they signal to her subconscious mind, and how you can communicate in a way that keeps her interested instead. If you've ever wondered why a woman's energy towards you suddenly changes, or why she seemed into you at first but then pulled away, chances are you might have said one of these 7 things without realizing the damage it caused. Stick with me until the end, because understanding this can save you from killing attraction before it even has a chance to grow. 1. Stop telling her how lucky you are to have her. This might sound harmless, even romantic. You're looking at her, she's smiling. Maybe you're feeling a little emotional, and you say, "I'm so lucky to have you." You mean it as a compliment, right? But here's the problem. When a man constantly tells a woman this, it doesn't make her value you more. It often does the exact opposite. Why? Because attraction is built on mutual value. She needs to feel lucky to have you just as much as you feel lucky to have her. The moment you start talking like she's the prize and you're just the guy who somehow got lucky, you're suddenly putting yourself beneath her in the relationship. And whether she realizes it or not, that shift in dynamic changes how she sees you. Think about it. When you act like she's rare and you're replaceable, you're sending a signal that you believe she has options, but you don't. That's not an attractive position to be in. Women are drawn to men who project confidence, not men who constantly reinforce the idea that they're punching above their weight. Now, this doesn't mean you should never appreciate her or acknowledge the good she brings to your life. Gratitude is important, but there's a difference between appreciation and putting her on a pedestal so high that you can't even see yourself on the same level anymore. When you do that, you're telling her without saying it outright that she's the one with the power. And in relationships, when one person starts to feel too secure and the other starts to feel too uncertain, attraction can fade fast. A better approach. Balance the energy. Let her see through your actions that you value her, but never frame it in a way that makes it sound like you don't deserve her. Instead of saying, "I'm so lucky to have you," say something like, "We're good together," or "We make a great team." That's not just semantics. It communicates equality. It tells her you both bring value to the table. If you've been guilty of saying this too often, don't panic. Just start shifting how you express appreciation. Remember, the most attractive relationships are ones where both people feel they've got something great. Not where one feels like the prize and the other feels like the fan who's just happy to be there. When you stop talking like you got lucky and start living like you belong in the relationship, she won't just respect you more. She'll also find you more attractive. Confidence is contagious, and when you carry yourself like a man who deserves to be there, she'll believe it too. 2. Never admit you can't get other women. This one sounds obvious at first, but you'd be surprised how many men destroy attraction by saying something that makes them sound like she's their only shot. It might come out during a vulnerable moment after a disagreement, or even when you're trying to be romantic. You might say things like, "I don't know what I'd do without you," or "No other woman would want me like you do." It might feel like honesty, but it's the kind of honesty that kills attraction instantly. Here's why. In the dating and relationship game, perceived value matters. Women are attracted to men who have options, not necessarily because they want you to be with someone else, but because it signals that you are desirable, confident, and in demand. The moment you tell her you can't get other women, you're not just saying she's special. You're admitting that she's your only chance at love, intimacy, and validation. That doesn't make her feel secure. It makes her feel like the relationship is based on dependence, not desire. Think about it from her perspective. If she feels like you can't attract other women, she starts questioning why. Is it your confidence, your social skills, your lifestyle? Attraction is emotional, not logical. And the emotional signal you're sending here is, "I'm lucky you even looked my way because no one else would." That flips the power dynamic in her favor and puts you in a position where she's the only one deciding if the relationship continues. Now, this doesn't mean you have to act like you're dating a dozen women or brag about your options to make her insecure. That's childish and will backfire. But it does mean you should never make statements that imply she's your only hope. The most attractive men maintain a quiet confidence that says, "I choose to be here. I'm not forced to be here." A better approach is to let your life reflect abundance, not necessarily abundance in women, but in purpose, ambition, and self-worth. When she sees that you have a strong sense of self, fulfilling goals, a social life, and a level of discipline that keeps you growing, she knows you're capable of attracting others. And here's the key. When she knows you have options, but you still choose her, that's when her attraction grows even more. So the next time you feel the urge to say something that paints you as desperate or optionless, stop. Replace it with something that communicates choice and self-respect. Attraction thrives when she knows you're with her because you want to be, not because you believe no one else would want you. 3. Don't share. Every fear and insecurity. A lot of men hear the phrase, "women like vulnerability," and take it way too far. They think it means unloading every fear, doubt, and insecurity onto a woman like she's their personal therapist. The idea is that being open will make her feel closer to them. But here's the reality. While occasional vulnerability builds connection, constant vulnerability without balance kills attraction. When you share every insecurity, how you hate your body, how you're scared of losing your job, how you think you're not good enough, you're no longer showing her a confident man with occasional human moments. You're showing her a man who's looking for emotional rescue. And when a woman starts to feel like she's carrying your emotional weight, attraction can fade fast. It's not because she's cold or doesn't care. It's because attraction and desire are built on polarity. Your strength gives her space to relax into her femininity. If you're always in emotional collapse, she has to step into the strong role. And over time, that reverses the dynamic in a way that kills romance. She might still love you as a person, but the spark will die. This doesn't mean you have to be a robot who never shares feelings. In fact, bottling everything up can create distance too. The key is discernment. Vulnerability works best when it's paired with a sense of stability. For example, telling her, "I've had a stressful week at work, but I'm finding ways to handle it," is different from saying, "I'm scared I'm going to lose my job and I have no idea what to do." One shows openness and resilience. The other shows helplessness. Think of it like this. When you go to a doctor, you trust them because even if they have bad news, they deliver it with solutions and composure. The same principle applies in relationships. If you're facing a challenge, share it in a way that makes her feel you're still grounded and capable, not falling apart. Women are attracted to men who can carry themselves even when life gets rough. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect or emotionless. It means you should lead with strength and sprinkle vulnerability in when it makes sense. That way, your openness feels real and attractive, not overwhelming. So yes, let her see your human side, but don't make your deepest fears and insecurities the daily conversation. Show her a man who can navigate life with both courage and humility, and she'll feel safer and more drawn to you than if you simply dump every emotional weight onto her. 4. Avoid asking if she still loves you. Let's talk about one of the quickest ways to make a woman lose interest. Constantly asking, "Do you still love me?" Or, "Are you still attracted to me?" At first, it might seem like you're just looking for reassurance. But over time, this question plants a seed in her mind that you're insecure and unsure of your value, and nothing drains attraction faster than repeated neediness. I knew a guy named Marcus who had a beautiful, loyal girlfriend. She supported him through career struggles, family drama, and even a long-distance phase. But Marcus had one habit. Whenever she got quiet, seemed busy, or didn't text back right away, he'd panic and ask, "You still love me, right?" At first, she laughed it off. But after months of the same question, she started feeling like she was babysitting his emotions instead of enjoying the relationship. Eventually, she admitted she no longer saw him as the confident, grounded man she fell for. That's the hidden danger here. The moment you repeatedly seek verbal confirmation of her feelings, you're showing her you don't believe in your own worth. And when you don't believe in your own worth, she'll start to wonder why she should. Relationships thrive when both people feel secure in themselves first. Sure, there's nothing wrong with the occasional romantic check-in, but it should never be a regular habit. If you need constant reassurance, it signals that you're relying on her love to feel okay about yourself. That's emotional dependency, not attraction. Instead of asking if she still loves you, pay attention to her actions. Is she making time for you? Is she affectionate? Is she showing effort in the relationship? Those are the real indicators of love, far more than any forced verbal answer she might give to avoid an argument. Here's the shift. Stop looking for emotional security in her words and start creating it within yourself. Build your self-confidence through your achievements, your discipline, your purpose, and your social life. The more secure you are in your own identity, the less you'll feel the urge to ask for reassurance. Marcus learned this the hard way. After his breakup, he worked on his career, hit the gym, reconnected with friends, and found a deeper sense of purpose. When he got into his next relationship, he didn't once ask, "Do you still love me?" And interestingly, his girlfriend never left him guessing. Why? Because women respond to men who believe in themselves. So remember, if you act like you're unsure she loves you, she might start questioning it too. But when you stand firm in your value, she'll naturally keep giving you the love and attraction you no longer feel the need to ask for. 5. Don't tell her. She's out of your league. It sounds like a compliment, but it's actually one of the most self-sabotaging things you can ever say to a woman. When you tell her, "You're out of my league," you're essentially saying, "I'm lucky you even looked at me because you could do better." That's not humility. That's self-deprecation disguised as flattery. The wrong here is simple. You're putting her on a pedestal so high that you're admitting you don't belong beside her, even if she's attracted to you at first. These kinds of statements blur out in her mind. She starts wondering, if he thinks he's not good enough, maybe he's right. Over time, This imbalance erodes the mutual respect that keeps attraction alive. It also shifts the relationship dynamic in a dangerous way. Instead of seeing you as her equal, she starts to feel like the superior one, the one with the power. And as much as some men think women enjoy being the prize in a relationship, true long-term attraction thrives when there's equality, not when one person is constantly elevating the other at their own expense. Another problem with saying, "You're out of my league," is that it can come across as fishing for reassurance. You might be hoping she'll reply, "No, you're amazing. I'm lucky to have you." But when this becomes a pattern, it feels needy rather than endearing. Attraction is about confidence. And every time you verbally place yourself beneath her, you chip away at the confidence she was initially drawn to. So, what's the right way to express admiration without lowering yourself? The answer is to compliment her in a way that also affirms your own value. Instead of saying, "You're out of my league," say something like, "We make a great match." Or, "I like how we bring out the best in each other." This reinforces equality and still lets her know you value her. If you want to be even more impactful, compliment specific qualities rather than making grand self-deprecating statements. For example, "I admire how driven you are. It pushes me to level up too. You have this energy that makes everything more fun. I like how you challenge me in the best way." These types of compliments are powerful because they express appreciation while keeping the frame that you belong in her world. You're not lucky to be with her. You both benefit from being together. Here's the truth. Women respect men who respect themselves. If you see yourself as beneath her, she'll eventually see you the same way. But if you see yourself as her equal, someone she's lucky to have just as much as you're lucky to have her, that mutual respect and attraction will only grow stronger over time. 6. Never reveal you'd change everything for her. At first, it sounds romantic. You're in the middle of a deep conversation. Maybe she's talking about her dreams or her frustrations, and you say, "I'd change my whole life for you." Movies and love songs make this sound like the ultimate declaration of love, but in the real world, it's one of the fastest ways to make a woman lose respect for you. Here's why. It communicates that your own values, goals, and identity are negotiable, that you're willing to throw away your direction in life just to keep her happy. In the beginning, she might smile and see it as sweet, but over time, that same statement starts to feel like pressure. She'll realize that she's not with a man who stands on his own 2 feet. She's with someone who's ready to abandon himself for her approval. Women are drawn to men with a clear sense of purpose. That purpose can include her, but it shouldn't revolve entirely around her. When you reveal that you change everything for her, you're telling her that you don't have a solid foundation, and a man without a foundation is hard to trust. Imagine this. You've been working toward a career goal for years, and she says she doesn't like it. If your immediate response is, "I'll quit tomorrow if that's what you want," you might think you're showing love, but what you're really showing is that you lack conviction. And if you can abandon your own dreams so quickly, how can she believe you'll protect the relationship when things get tough? Now, let's be clear. Relationships often require compromise, and sometimes you'll make sacrifices. But there's a difference between adjusting your plans together and giving up your entire life blueprint to please her. The first is partnership. The second is self-erasure. A far better approach is to communicate that you value her deeply while still holding on to who you are. For example, "I want us to build a life where we can both grow. I'm open to adjustments, but I also have goals I'm committed to. I care about what matters to you, and I want to find a way that works for both of us." These kinds of statements show love and strength. They tell her that you're considering her needs, but you're not abandoning your own. That balance keeps attraction alive because she sees you as a man who can love deeply without losing himself. The truth is, the men women stay attracted to long-term are the ones who can integrate a relationship into their existing mission, not the ones who drop their mission entirely. So don't hand over the steering wheel of your life. Invite her into your journey, but never give up the driver's seat. 7. Don't confess you can't live without her. It's one of the most overused lines in relationships. I can't live without you. You'll hear it in love songs, see it in movies, and maybe you've even said it yourself at some point. On the surface, it sounds passionate, like the ultimate sign of devotion. But in reality, it's one of the most unattractive things you can tell a woman. Why? Because it doesn't communicate love. It communicates dependence. You're basically saying, my entire happiness, stability, and purpose depend on you. At first, she might see it as romantic, but over time, it becomes a heavy burden. No woman wants to feel like she's responsible for keeping you alive emotionally. Attraction thrives when there's choice, not obligation. A woman wants to know that you choose to be with her because she adds value to your life, not because your life would collapse without her. The first is love. The second is desperation. Here's the subtle danger. When you tell her you can't live without her, you're giving her all the power. You're telling her that she could walk away and destroy your world in one move. This shifts the dynamic from mutual respect to emotional imbalance, where you're the dependent one and she's the provider of your emotional security. That's not the recipe for attraction. It's the recipe for resentment. Now, this doesn't mean you can't express deep feelings. It's okay to let her know she's important to you, that she makes your life better, or that she inspires you. But you have to frame it in a way that shows you're still whole without her. That's what keeps the attraction alive. Knowing you're with her out of genuine desire, not emotional survival. Instead of saying, I can't live without you, try, my life is great on its own, but you make it even better. You inspire me to be a better